Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
And this is Casey
Casey
Bellman.
Casey at the bat.
Casey at the mic.
Yeah, I am at the mic
So
right now.
welcome back.
Thank you.
Hold on. Oh, there. Try that.
All right.
Actually, you can lift the arm up a little bit.
That's a little personal right there. I mean,
I know. I just got right up in there.
Well, you did buy dinner, so you...
I did buy dinner. So.
I am stuffed. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. The sandwich looked good. I've never gotten that sandwich there. Okay. Anyway.
I almost got it when you ordered it. I looked
I
at
will
it.
eat an Italian sandwich anywhere it's offered, at least once.
Here
Give
we
it a
are
try.
with sandwich talk with Casey, Darryl, and Brian. Anyway, no. So welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's actually been almost a year.
Almost.
Exactly. You were the I was telling Darryl just I think yesterday or today. You were the second guest host before Darryl was able to start full time as the new and improved co-host of the Infamous Podcast.
Right.
And so thank you for doing that. We're friends. We text constantly. Our text chain is pretty funny from time to time.
Thanks, Jay's Vintage Collection.
Yeah,
for
thank
that.
you, Jay's Vintage for
Shout
that
out.
for sure. God, that guy's hilarious.
Yes.
He is hilarious. But yeah, no. Okay, so today we've got you in. We're gonna talk some Star Wars. We're gonna talk toys. Even though you dropped the big bombshell that you're not really collecting as much, which makes me sad because
Yeah, everything's packed away right now.
Oh yeah,
in
so
between homes.
you're
so,
moving, so
yeah.
I get it. I get
Yeah,
it. So,
it-
but yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about though. I think just with Star Wars alone, with being, I would almost say you're a bigger Star Wars fan than me. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm definitely third on the total poll of Star
It's all
Wars
relative,
fandom.
yeah.
It is.
Here.
I am wearing a Star Wars shirt, but let's be honest, 90% of the time I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt, so that doesn't mean a whole lot. But starting off, we're going to talk about the Justice League. HBO Max had a glitch last Saturday, and the first hour or so that Tom and Jerry was up, it wasn't Tom and Jerry, it was the Justice League. And I actually signed back into Twitter after reading this article to go read some of the tweets, and it's just hilarious. Hey, HBO Max and Tom and Jerry aren't in the Justice League, things like that. But yeah, so here's the fun thing is if you start streaming, I don't know if they can take it down. So I wonder how many people were able to watch at least the first hour,
Right.
or are you able, once it's up, what is buffered so far? Are you able to get halfway in? I didn't see anybody kind of posting that they saw the ending or anything like that, but I know I always fight the urge when Game of Thrones would come on to go to the end of the episode and screen grab something and then tweet it 5 minutes into the episode being on. But I just thought that was a dick move. So
You thought it was a dick move? No, there's no thinking. That is a dick move.
anyway, but yeah, what do you guys think about that? Did they do that on purpose?
I have never heard of something like that happening before. So I don't know if that's tough to say. Because, again, we're talking about WB, and I was just talking to my friend at lunch and how WB, Warner Brothers, with the whole DCEU, they fall on their face all the time. They fell on their face with the HBO Max, the release of, or the premiere of HBO Max,
Mm-hmm.
The UI, everything. It's just terrible. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was, I would be kind of surprised if it was done purposefully, but just knowing what they've done over the past few years, I think it was just a screw up.
Yeah.
it's a present day problem, right? Anyone could go in and upload something that works in the office and find out
That's
that
true,
was
yeah.
probably just the wrong file
Right.
they were on or whatever. And
It happens in movie theaters
Yeah.
now. If
Right.
you go to a Regal Cinema, none of that is housed in the actual theater you're in. It's all housed somewhere in Tennessee, and it has
Really?
to play. And if there's an issue, they have to get on with their internal customer support in Tennessee to fix it. I remember when I went to try and go see John Wick 3, there was the sound was off. It was this high-pitched squeal, ear-shattering high-pitched squeal. And they gave everybody like their
We
money
went to see a
back.
movie like that a few years ago. It wasn't John Wick because I
No.
don't think.
Are you
but
sure it just wasn't someone getting hit in the crotch? Because there was a lot of
There
crotch
was a
shots
lot
in
of
that
that.
movie.
But
No.
no, I mean it was like a squeal like
Yeah.
from the like it sounded
I
like
know
the
what you mean.
speakers were like literally bursting.
Wow.
And they gave everybody money back. And while I was waiting in line to get the money back, I actually scheduled or bought a ticket for a showing within like the next 20 minutes at like a theater 3 miles away.
So I did see something about that. Was it last year, year before last, where it was a kids movie and they were showing like this horror movie accidentally,
Oh jeez.
Wow.
and that obviously didn't go well. But I hadn't heard of anything on any of the streaming sites of this happening before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Justice League is definitely not PG like Tom and Jerry is, and so I imagine there's some parents who probably sat down and were like, you know,
Hey kid, watch this.
Martha,
Why did you say that name?
Martha, we gotta save Superman.
I mean, I will say I'm overly excited, but I'm trying to mentally
I keep
prepare myself for 4 hours
So,
on the couch.
I think
Like,
we're gonna do like a bonus episode
Yeah.
just because like there's gonna be so much to talk about. There's no way I'm sitting through 4 hours. I'll probably watch an hour, pause, go run some laps, watch an hour, pause, and go run some laps.
Well, that was the original thought, that the rumor that it was going to be released in 4 episodes.
They were talking about doing 4 over the span of a month.
Which no.
Would have just killed everything, and then they were like, then we're gonna put it all together, and it's like, well, no one's gonna watch it in the first month.
No.
They're gonna wait, and so no, I'm glad that they're doing this. You know, but I'm not, like I've said all along, I'm cautiously optimistic. Yeah. Actually, let me rephrase that. I'm cautiously pessimistic. I want to be optimistic, but like Justice League was so bad.
Yeah.
But at least we won't have Joss Whedon yelling at the actors from off screen.
Yeah. And I always say about this, I know what I'm going to get with Zack Snyder. And other than Sucker Punch, I've liked Snyder's movies. They aren't always the greatest. But yeah, I was going down through like Dawn of the Dead in 2004. I thought that was a very good zombie movie.
But it's a shot-for-shot remake of somebody else's.
I don't care.
No,
But what I'm saying is like and again, then you have 300, which
which is a shot-for-shot remake of a comic.
yeah,
book.
but he actually added a couple like plot lines.
Still, it's still that he used the Frank Miller comic.
Yeah, oh,
storyboard
absolutely.
and recreated that beautifully.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But still, it's still Zack Snyder. You have Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. You have Watchmen. I really enjoyed Watchmen, and I like the changes he actually did in Watchmen versus the comic, which, again, I'm not a huge Watchmen comic fan. I thought it was good, and I think it would have been great for the time. Mm-hmm. And then you have Batman v Superman. The Ultimate Edition of that movie is decent.
Have you watched the Ultimate Edition?
I think I own it, yeah.
Theatrical version of that is not.
Don't think I watched it, but
Yeah.
I own it.
It's on HBO Max right now, so maybe I'll watch that. The Ultimate Edition of BVS.
I haven't seen that come up. But
so I'll
yeah.
I'll have to. I want to say I'll have to take your word for it, but I feel like I need to watch BVS and Justice League again, which I really don't want to watch Justice League.
I don't want to watch, but we kind of have to. I think
You don't have to unless you're going to come on and review.
Yeah,
Justice League
I'm gonna watch it.
or the Snyder Cut.
I actually enjoyed Justice League the way it was, but not.
That's
like
fair.
I don't like DC movies in general. Like I'm not like clamoring to get to the theater to see them, but I do say that my wife and I watched that in the theater. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed that one.
That's
we
fair.
enjoyed Aquaman. We enjoyed Wonder Woman. We really didn't enjoy anything else. Like
I
Suicide
liked-
Squad was all right, but
I liked Aquaman, but I watched it on HBO then now.
yeah,
Right. And it's like, oh, this is underwater Black Panther. I mean, just like with less plot holes.
I was about to say I actually enjoyed Aquaman more. Like after watching them both a few times, I actually enjoyed Aquaman a little bit better.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, I know I'm canceled now.
Cancel. So at DJasper07 on. Anyway, no, I don't know. Like I think I like the idea of the Snyder Cut. I really do. I like what I like that a studio actually listened to fans. I like that they threw another almost $100 million into the movie to finish it. And I like that we're not going to have to look at Henry Cavill's digitally deformed face.
Yeah.
Because he's a beautiful man. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And he builds his own PCs.
Did your ovaries just explode?
No, I am not that Star Wars girl.
I was gonna say, do you know Anna, that Star Wars girl on YouTube?
She's hilarious.
So she's part of the fandom Menace.
Okay. Yeah,
So she's great, love her, right? But she was doing some Henry Cavill videos, and she goes super simp for him, and she's in like this latex dress. Where if you watch her videos, like she's she's very attractive, right? She's always like wearing a sweatshirt. Or
yeah, like
something.
she had a sweatshirt on in today's video. Yeah.
Her body to sell her channel, right? She uses her hate for SJWs.
God bless her.
Well, when she does the it's like I kind of want to like go capture that and make that my ringtone.
She does that really well.
So, but no, her super simp stuff for Henry Cavill is just priceless comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that we're gonna get to see more of like the nightmare scenario and everything with Batman or Batfleck, however you want to say it, which I actually like him as Batman.
Yeah,
I do too.
Certainly.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good Bruce Wayne too. Like we were talking about Superman versus Lois. Soups. I call it Soups and Lolo.
Yeah.
It's catching on.
It is. It's going viral. As Darryl shakes his head no.
Let's call back to yesterday. Since you were in here now, we were able to do that.
Yeah.
But like Tyler Hoechlin is a really, really great Superman, I think.
Yeah.
But I think he's even better Clark Kent. So, which I think is the harder role to play.
Yeah. I'd agree. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But I really like Henry Cavill as Superman, and we saw Man of Steel together, and I came out of Man of Steel very lukewarm.
Yeah, and I was like,
I didn't
really
hate it. You were simping for it, hardcore.
Not hardcore.
But I remember like a couple of the guys were like, "This is the worst."
Yeah,
and it's like it wasn't the worst. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm interested to see. It looks like we're gonna get Martian Manhunter. We're gonna get like actual Cyborg. We're gonna get more of the Flash, which I'm like Ezra Miller is just I'm not a fan.
Yeah, Yeah, and again, I like him okay enough. I've seen him in only a couple things really. Let's be honest, but he just doesn't work for me as Barry Allen at all.
No,
or like Barry Allen, the Flash, anything.
Yeah, he might work as like Bart, like Impulse, but even then.
But then you have the kid that was in Smallville that played him, and I actually liked his role, his version.
Kyle Gallagher.
Yeah,
from Veronica Mars.
That's who that was. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Veronica Mars?
No.
All 4 seasons are on Hulu. You've got a great movie for the you and Jacqueline to watch together, or a great TV show for you and Jacqueline to watch together. She's
probably seen it.
Yeah, that's another one of those things he's told me about for years, and then I finally watched it. Was it last year or the year before? Was it 2019?
It might have been 2019.
Yeah, I finally said, okay, you know what? I'm going to watch it. And I was like...
I think it was when the 4th season came out.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I actually really liked it.
It's great. It's like the best like teen detective show. And in the 3rd season, you get an episode with Paul Rudd.
A long time ago, we used to be
Galactic
friends.
Treasure, Paul Rudd.
Galactic Treasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other thing with the Snyder Cut, there's rumors that we're going to get a Green Lantern. So
see, a lot of the one thing I've done, I've purposefully avoided any of the character trailers, and I haven't looked in any articles.
Character trailers are what have me being cautiously pessimistic, like leaning towards optimism.
Okay, so it's actually kind of like
it's just enough.
Just okay, that's good.
So, I didn't watch the Dark Side one or the Steppenwolf one, but I watched.
Oh, I didn't even know those were.
I watched the ones with the League members. Did you watch any of those?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know they had a Dark Side and Steppenwolf.
And
one.
it's that like I think they did. I don't know. Maybe I was fever dreamed. Maybe I had a nightmare scenario.
Speaking of Zack Snyder, fever dream.
Martha. Anyway, but speaking of Green Lantern, so HBO Max is there's a rumored Green Lantern series that's gonna come to Max, and my story's taking forever. And now they're saying it's gonna be Hal Jordan, where before they were rumoring it was gonna be what was
his name? Something
Simon Baz,
yeah,
and
Baz.
Jessica Cruz. So Simon Baz is probably one of the dumbest Green Lanterns they've ever made, right? There's no way the Ring is picking somebody who is actively setting a bomb.
Yeah.
And who is actively that much of a stereotype.
Yeah.
Jessica Cruz, I gave up on Green Lantern before she really became a thing, which was really hard because I have I think every Green Lantern issue from 1985 through 2014. It's one of the ones I've always collected. Wow. That I never took breaks from. I just have always enjoyed, especially John and Kyle and Guy. Hal is my least favorite Green Lantern. I think this is a huge mistake to do Hal Jordan.
So who would you project?
I would 100% do Jon Stewart because Justice League Unlimited was the show that most millennials and Gen Z kids grew up with. And so to them, Jon Stewart is their Green Lantern.
I would say, again, I actually would love to see Jon Stewart. And again, it's comics, so I am far down on the totem pole. But I have read some Green. I actually read I think it was called Green Lanterns with Simon and Jessica when they were teamed up.
Yeah, when they were the protectors of Earth, when all the good Green Lanterns were off doing things in space.
But I would actually, and again, when you talk about the whole doing things with a checkbox, Jon Stewart is not one of those things. He's actually his own strong character, and it wouldn't be. And again, this is not like saying, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna do a black Superman." No, that's something totally different from saying, "Hey, let's bring Jon Stewart." Because to your point, again, I'd seen him in the cartoons here and there, even though I didn't. It's one of those cartoons I didn't watch consistently.
You missed out.
But I would watch here and there. And again, they're on my list. I have my list.
Did you watch Justice League Unlimited?
No.
It's on HBO Max as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
my to watch list again. It's
Literally
obscene.
Sometimes I actually log into your account to see what's on my to watch list, and I fight the urge to add things to it that I know you haven't watched.
Do it, because I have a lot.
I feel like that's Clark overstepping the bounds with the kids, spying on them, and then showing up at school. It's Darryl, you should be watching this.
All right, I'm watching Haley's. And I'm watching Darryl's.
Oh, I usually end up watching stuff on Haley's by mistake. So, because I'll pull it up and I'm so used to it always being on mine.
Yeah.
But since she's really going deep into the DC rabbit hole, I kind of have to check and make sure I don't watch something rated R on there, and I don't want her to get in trouble. I mean, because I totally would never admit that I watched it and I'd let her get in trouble. But
why did you watch this?
Why did you watch this?
Why did you watch it?
Why did you watch that movie? Why did you say that? Well, I got a notification one time on Instagram saying that she had an account. And so I was and it was pictures from her phone and stuff. And it's what? And she claims it wasn't her. I went through her email. There was a sign up email confirmation and things like that. So she's what? I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt because she had a really easy password. So we changed all of her passwords.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
I deleted the account. So, but yeah. Anyway, but
So I get your point as far as these are if you're targeting these people who were introduced to that character or the Green Lantern mantle, at with Unlimited, and you have Jon Stewart, that makes sense.
I mean, in Justice League Unlimited, we got to see Guy. And we got to see Kyle. There was no Hal in there. Or there might have been a little bit, but not much. And then, in a lot of these animated movies that have come out, it's been Hal, but it's the New 52 version of Hal where he's all braggadocious and Nathan Fillion is the voice, and it's just. It doesn't work in any stretch of the imagination.
I actually liked him in
all these
War.
People who are Nathan Fillion should play Hal Jordan. It's well, if he wasn't 70 years old, maybe.
In The Rookie, he's 42.
Yeah.
He's playing 42?
He's a rookie cop, and I love that show, by the way.
So he's playing down 30 years in age. Because, I mean, he's
He's in his 40s.
Which
He's
is
like
my
in his
age.
mid
He
to
is
late
not-
40s.
I'm that age, and I'm like
How old are you?
42.
I'm 43, and there's no way he and I are the same age.
Yeah, you'll be able to get
Oh
that
no,
out.
he's in his 50s.
Yeah, I would say he's probably in his early.
He's
50.
49.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, there you go. Okay.
But he looks like he's in his 50s.
He looks like he's 60.
Yeah.
Like he's had a hard.
He doesn't look that old.
He's
man.
a hard traveling hero.
My mother-in-law
So-
cannot listen to any of this episode, by the way, because she loves that man.
Okay, so I was first introduced to Nathan Fillion on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, which dropped the Pizza Place, became Two Guys and a Girl, where he played Johnny, Trailer Howard's boyfriend, and he was my favorite character on the show. And that was like the introduction of Ryan Reynolds to the universe in a main way. And he was gold in that. But Johnny was my favorite character on that show because Nathan Fillion was great. So I'm jokingly bashing him, but
Yeah.
but no, I think Jon Stewart would make more sense, and Common would be the perfect person to play him, because I know you disagree on that, but like so Jon Stewart is very analytical.
Mhm.
He's an engineer, plus he's a former Marine.
Okay, yeah,
So
that was. Yeah.
I think like if you go back and watch John Wick 2,
I
like
would-
Common
he has that-
really like showed that to me there. Where it's like, okay, that's when I was like, this is who should play Jon Stewart.
I'm not totally disabused of the idea. To that point, Common is very limited in his acting range. But with that being said, he does show some of the qualities and characteristics to what you're talking about. So he doesn't have to have, this spectrum of emotion from A to Z necessarily. But I could get on board with him playing Jon Stewart.
Do you have someone you think would be a good Jon Stewart?
You guys are talking another language to me because I have no Green Lantern experience at all. Other than
He's the
watching
Black Green Lantern. So
Ryan Reynolds version, which that's Hal Jordan, right?
right.
Yeah. So that's the only one I know. That's the only really involvement with Green Lantern I've ever had in my life.
Fair enough. So,
Brightest day.
Hey, but I'm glad to be here.
just thanks for having me, guys.
I have no idea what you just said, but I'm here.
Hey, we got you out of the house today.
Yes, you did.
So, and it's exciting because this is the first time we've had a full studio, and like I've been wanting to have someone come in, and it's perfect. that
And the
it's you.
studio audience, they've been so great tonight.
They have. The
They're
two
huge.
skateboards are just like the
All
best.
the-
I think the Ahsokas over there are doing a great job. They're like really wrapped. Look at those eyes right there. I mean,
only-
Maul's not looking at us at all, but whatever.
I've got 3 Ahsokas. Yeah. No. Yeah, 3. No, 4. I got the little mission fleet ones that you guys hate, and like I was all excited to get them, and I was gonna post a picture like, look what I picked up, and then you had like texted something about these are the stupidest things. I'm like hiding my shame.
No, they're not that bad. I saw that new Mandalorian pack, and I mean, the Cara Dune in there alone is going to be worth hundreds of dollars.
I'm pissed that I
So-
opened it now.
I know.
I'm so mad that I
You
opened
lost
it.
all the collector value.
So, anyway, well, that's the subtitle on the episode. Is like it says the real question: are you an inbox or open kind of collector? So,
I've morphed into both personally.
I feel
yeah.
yeah, I'm the same. So
Yeah.
All right, so our last bit of news here is Jac Schaeffer had a really great interview with Deadline. And if you're not familiar with Jac Schaeffer, you haven't been listening to the podcast for the last month. She is the head writer for Scarlet Witch, and she wrote the Black Widow movie. Or I'm sorry, she has the story by credit for Black Widow.
Which
but
we'll never see, so it doesn't matter.
it's never coming out.
What is that?
You know what they did is they took it up to a tall mountain and dropped it off a cliff.
There's that horse in the corner again.
Hey, you have so few things that you're not perfect on, Darryl, that I have to jump at it when I can.
Yeah, it's like the whole comedic timing thing. When I mention anything about Black Widow, it's like waiting for the response. It's like
Yeah.
he can't help it. Like one of these days he's gonna go like 2 weeks without saying anything. I'm like, are you okay?
Well, I kept trying to buy Haley the Black Widow Christmas ornament. And she's like, no, you're just gonna knock it off the tree and make me find it on the ground. It's like, yeah. But no, so there's this really great article. It's in Deadline. It's in the show notes. And she's talking about like the grief of Black Widow and things like that. But one of the interesting things is she when she goes into it, she talks about how she's not a good comic book reader. And just thinking about the whole WandaVision thing, right? Like, she has some deep cuts. Like, Agatha Harkness is not a known character.
No.
I mean, did you know about Agatha Harkness? Like,
I knew of her, but I don't know enough.
So, I mean, she started out as Franklin Richards' nanny. Why did I say it like that?
All right, I wasn't going to say anything.
Frank started as Franklin Richards' nanny. Martha. And anyway, and she, she was a mentor to Wanda for a bit. Like I told you, she was in X-Men Evolution as Mystique and tied in with Rogue. She was Rogue's like foster mom. But she is a character who has not had that dusted off in a solid like 10 or 15 years. And so something like that. Monica Rambeau, while Captain Marvel definitely gave more attention to Monica Rambeau has not really been seen in the comics a whole lot lately, especially as Spectrum with the power set that they gave her in the show. But so I have to say, I'm almost glad she's not like a quote unquote good comic book reader, because she talks about like she glanced at House of M, she looked through some stuff. Kevin Feige
she said she couldn't like really understand which panel to go to next. Like,
well, sequential storytelling like is hard. It's hard to read. Like, you have to learn how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a artistic eye. I mean, I have a degree in illustration, so for me, I see that just from years of training and knowing how to tell the story and things like that. But for someone like her who just admitted straight up, like, I had a hard time reading the comics. Like, I don't know which panel to go to next. Like, that's a pretty brave. I mean, and she did an excellent job.
I thought she did a fantastic job. I think that the team of her, and I said this last week, her and Matt Shakman, who directed all of the episodes, if they're not given multiple like large scale Marvel movies to do, it is a gross disservice to this creative team that they have. I don't know if they stumbled upon or if they were like a team beforehand or whatnot, but like they worked really, really well together.
Very well.
And we like to kind of harp on SJWs, right? One of the best things they did with WandaVision is they weren't like, it's a girl power, all female writers. They went with like they had this great writers room. Honestly, the episodes that I disliked the most were from the woman who's writing and directing Captain Marvel 2.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, because I did not like that fourth episode.
Yeah. That was my least favorite one as well.
It just was so spoon feedy and like.
So this whole thing about not necessarily knowing the comics, it's a interesting take in the sense of it could be very dangerous if you're not knowing the source material or don't care about the source material, Ruin Johnson. But and again, I would have had an issue if this was a DC. I think there would have been issues if this was a DC property, solely because you don't have a Kevin Feige overseeing this. And he definitely had, helped them along. And like you said, Brian, she had some good cuts in here where she had a decent enough knowledge where she wasn't coming in as if she was, a blank slate.
Yeah.
But I do think, especially when you're talking about canon universes, and again, we've seen issues with Star Wars, that I want. Now, again, it's not. I don't want just the biggest fans, because if you have the talent to write, we can work with your knowledge of the material.
I think this is a good case,
and that's
that,
right.
Like, she had the restraint not to put Doctor Strange in the finale. She had the restraint not to go with Mephisto, like, which would have been just kind of a ripoff of Dormammu from Haley calls Angel Dormammu. Which would have kind of been a ripoff of Doctor Strange, right?
I've come to bargain.
Have the big, but like, I liked how they tied it into S.H.I.E.L.D. with the Darkhold, and like, like some of that stuff, and like, it's like, are we gonna get Jaime Reyes Ghost Rider showing up in a Marvel, like in a Disney Plus thing or something?
I actually really liked his version of Ghost
he was
Rider.
great. Did you watch Shield, right?
Yeah.
So
Dude, the car. Oh my gosh.
better than the Impala.
Yes.
Wow. There
And I
was
love the
zero
Impala.
hesitation there. He's like one of the biggest stands for
I was about to-
Supernatural.
I was just about to say I'm a Supernatural stan.
He is like, he's got Dean tattooed on his back.
No, I
So-
don't.
And then he has
But
a-
I actually have their like the whole like thing to ward off possessions like tattooed on my chest.
And then
I really
he's
don't,
got a
but-
Jared Padalecki, however you say it, tramp stamp, like of him laying like Jeff Bridges in Jurassic Park.
Boy.
Brian is what you call an unreliable narrator.
So,
But yeah, I
well,
she
I won't tell you where he's got Johnny Lawrence tattooed.
anyway. So
Strike first, strike hard, and mercy.
so
He's
they
just
did
shaking that one
enough
off.
job. They did a good enough job to show that you, as long as you have the talent to be, to write and to create, you can get that other experience, or you can lean on people like Kevin Feige to say, "Hey, we need help with X, Y, and Z." So
I'm sure he lays amazing groundwork.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
the beginning. Like he,
Feige? Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I think
So-
he makes things very clear in the beginning that here's where the direction has to go, and then
Mhm.
you for certain things, and then you do the rest. And
Right.
let's see how you do. But there's got to be some amazing direction there.
and that's why the MCU has been so successful,
Yeah.
because they had a plan.
Not Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh my god.
We're gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
After we're done talking about this, we're going full.
Take our shots there, huh?
Shots is not even the right word. So
Daryl's getting limber over here.
we're gonna drop bombs. We're gonna go straight CM Punk, and have pipe bombs. But no, you're right. I mean, having someone who's actually talented at what they do, regardless of their infinitesimal knowledge of the source material, is always going to be better than someone who's a straight up super fan. Like,
I could have done this.
I never could do what she does. I could not run a show.
I could write this.
Sure. Look, we've been there and we don't need to repeat that. Anyway, but no, I think there was just such a great creative team involved here.
Absolutely.
And I think her guiding hand as the head writer really pushed the envelope in the 2 episodes where it seemed like they kind of turned it over to the heir apparent with Monica. I forget her last name now. Not Geller. But, and not Bell. Oh, I gotta go back and look. Anyway.
But that's what we always say
yeah.
too. One of the things we always say when they say we want to do an all X, Y, or Z, it's I don't care. Give me people that are talented. That's all. Don't do the whole check a box thing. Get the people that are talented that can tell the best stories.
Megan McDonald was her name. You're right, because we got good stories. There was when the two she bookended the season, right? She wrote the first episode and the last episode, and I know you thought the first part of the season was slow.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's not the token Marvel story.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved that they took their time to build a mystery. Was some of it obvious? Yes. Was all of it obvious? Absolutely not. But I mean, like the Agatha Harkness thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of saw. I mean, I mentioned it early on, like I think in the second episode,
Right.
But at the same time, like part of that was just like me trying to flex on you with my Marvel knowledge. It's like, oh, she's gonna be Agatha Harkness.
And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
who
you're
she
like,
is.
whatever, dude. Stop.
Yeah.
Wow, put your shirt back on. Quit flexing. Get immobile. But yeah, it's just one of those things though where this is a really, really great creative team they put together. And honestly, I'm okay if this is the only season 1 of
Yeah.
we get.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all, honestly. And again, like when I was telling you all when we went out to dinner, is that from what I understood, that's what I thought the plan was all along. Like, I never expected it to go a second season.
I was happy it was 9 episodes instead of 8. Like,
right.
I thought that actually.
Yeah,
added.
because we thought it was 8.
I'm never like let's give a show
Yeah.
more episodes. I'm always like let's rein it in. Then
Yeah.
10, let's go 8. 8, let's go 6.
Yeah.
13, no, too many. 22, just cancel it.
Right.
But no, I really, really enjoyed it. I think, this is a great blueprint for what they can do. They're not going to drag things on. Like if you, I think when it comes to Jac Schaeffer, I think she has a very bright future in television. And much like I like to follow creators in comic books and things like that, I do like to follow showrunners to new shows to see what they do. A great example of that is Stephen S. Tonight, with like Buffy and Angel, and then into Spartacus and Black Sails, which I actually watched the pilot of.
That's one of my favorite intro songs.
Yeah. I like the Vikings intro song a lot.
I did not like how they
stuff.
changed it for the last season.
I skipped it in the last season every time just because I was in too much of a hurry to get through it. But yeah. All right. So now on to Casey.
Yes, sir.
As I turn.
Casey at the bat.
Should we offer him some brownie and lemonade like Chris Hansen? No, but we know someone who does need that. Oh, that's bad. Anyway, all right. So Casey is here mainly just because we love having Casey on the show, and he's in town, and he has an open invite to come on the podcast whenever he wants.
Much appreciated. I mean, I'm living out of a suitcase right now. A year ago was, the pandemic was just getting announced around this time.
Yeah, we didn't even have lockdowns yet.
Yeah, we were right before the lockdown. So, I mean, everything was still kind of normal. I don't even remember why I was in town.
You were just here.
Yeah, I really just don't even remember what caused that to even happen. But came into town for that, and then everything locked down soon after, and my wife and I conceived during lockdown. Yep. We have and I don't know if this is even going to be listened to on this podcast because it's totally off subject, but like you can't even find a doctor right now. There are so many people having babies right now.
Yeah.
Like one doctor told my wife, like, I only normally deliver 40 to 50 babies a month, and I'm at 70 right now.
Wait,
70 a month, and we're like begging doctors to like take us. Since we moved, of course, we had a doctor set up in Illinois, but glad to be back in Ohio.
Yeah. Welcome to Doctor Talk with Casey.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian,
That's
and Darryl.
crazy. I mean, that's something that so many things that I'm learning.
No,
right
we
now.
love the tangents. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Plus, it gives me the snarkiness to say, welcome to whatever talk. Like, what was it, last week's sandwich talk?
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, this is great, and I'm so happy for you, and you get to join the fraternity of dads.
Yes, I'm having a son, and
run,
and we are naming him Beckett from Solo.
Really?
We are naming. Choked on my own voice here. We are naming him Beckett. Yes,
I'm calling him Kylo. So
yeah, we are naming him Beckett. I'm Woody.
No, what did I say in the text? I said you should name him Grogu.
You did, yeah. When that was revealed, and unfortunately that got shot down
I mean,
immediately.
Grogu Bellman is a power name, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's a quarterback. That's a point guard. It's definitely not a field goal kicker.
No.
Beckett, that might be like a midfielder in soccer.
I get the same response. Everyone says it sounds like a private school kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to wear the polo shirt, two
Yeah.
polo shirts with both collars popped.
Yep.
With the sweater.
Yes.
Just folded over though,
Right.
not tied, just like nicely folded midsummer.
Yes. Midsummer.
Boat shoes, no socks.
Yes.
I love it.
My wife has a ton of style, and that's gonna.
I'm going to call him Killer Bees.
But Woody played Beckett and Solo, and he grew up in this area.
Just right down the street from you.
Yeah, so he's a big time celebrity in the area.
One of the more interesting characters in Solo. Actually, one of the more interesting characters in Disney Star Wars.
that is
I don't
Very
think
correct,
that's being
yeah.
hyperbolic.
No, it's not.
at all. But we are excited. It's a big change. So, of course, that's made a big change in the collection as well. I mean, one reason the collecting is dying down at the moment is because I'm moving and in between homes at the moment, just waiting on one to close. But very much drowning in my collection right now. Had to sell off, well, didn't have to, but decided to sell off quite a bit of just stuff before I moved.
Yeah.
Just to, have a smaller bill for the moving company,
and to afford that nice house.
Yeah. Well, and to pay for
No,
the
I'm
move.
kidding,
But yeah, it was just it was a smart move just to kind
Did you
of
sell any of the Kenner stuff?
dumb down. No, that's something I think I would never get rid of
That's
at this
Beckett's
point.
inheritance.
Yeah, once that enters the collection, it doesn't leave. So, but I focus more on vintage collection right now. I love the vintage collection. I love the card backs.
You have actually got me hooked on the TVC stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
addicting.
bought the Armorer and Moff Gideon Black Series just because I happened to find them. I wasn't necessarily going to get them because I have 2 of the deluxe edition Armorer.
Yep.
And I've got the vintage collection Moff Gideon coming anyway, but it's like, you know what? I like them. They look good. They're here. I never find anything in the wild anymore.
They're fun when you do open them.
Yep.
I don't normally with vintage collection. I love them on the card backs. I love them on display. I put them in cases. I'll put them in cheaper cases. I go to retroprotection.com. Shout out to Dan over there. He's got a great operation. Check him out online. It's super cheap cases that make these figures look like they're in acrylics. I mean, just looks great.
Sweet.
I like to open them and then send a picture of the open card
to Jay. Yes, to just
it
hurt
hurts
his
soul. It
hurt
hurts
his heart.
his soul.
Yep, he does.
So.
I have begged him to open stuff up, even stuff that I've asked him to send to me that I know I'm going to open. I ask him,
just
please,
open it.
just open it. Just video yourself opening it.
And
send
he
it
can't
to
do
me,
it.
and he just won't do it. No, there's no way.
So
I can't. No.
He'll even bubble wrap it and everything. I'm like, dude, I'm not opening. I'm not keeping that in package. I'm opening it.
He showed me where he's living right now and the storage he has.
Yeah.
And the amount of just vintage series is impressive.
He's got everything in vintage collection, and I'm talking 2008 or 2010 or whatever it started, which some of those figures go for $300-$400, and they're only a decade old.
Nice.
Geez, it's an amazing collection. He's worked very hard to get it.
It's impressive.
Yeah, but I at this point, vintage collection is it's cheap. It's probably why it's so easy for you to pick it up is, it's $12, $13, $14. Yeah. It's something you like. You can crack it open.
Actually, I like that I feel like the molds have gotten better.
The very good quality. Yeah.
Like the Ahsoka and the Maul molds that are coming out are great.
Mm-hmm.
The Grief Cargo one is really nice looking.
Yeah.
And things like that. Even the Mando stuff. But the Hondo is my favorite of the vintage. And then the Cardoon, not just because Gina's awesome and we stand with Gina, but and my Cardoon is holding Pedro Pascal's head. So I gotta post that picture.
You must.
So
Where'd you get that? Where's the head from?
it's from a vintage collection Mandalorian.
Like a deluxe.
So you
It's-
cannibalized
it's
it basically.
it's the replaceable
it's
head.
okay.
So it's the one I opened because I ended up getting 2 because I pre-ordered it and then they canceled it and then they sent it to me.
Weird.
Yeah,
That's the
man.
Walmart, yeah.
It's the Walmart.
Okay,
way.
I was about to
way.
say, was that
Yeah.
Walmart?
This is the
Because
way.
yeah,
So
that happened to me with something from Walmart.
yeah, because I had it went back up, so I was like, well, shit,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get it because it's getting canceled, and I got it, and then I got both of them. So they charged me for it. It's not of course they're gonna charge me for it, but yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been watching the recent Hasbro live streams, or if you do ever watch the Hasbro live streams. When they do a Star Wars related show, which is probably once a quarter or so, they get roasted so bad in questions about just, if you just watch the comments, it's please stop, offering exclusives through Walmart. Please stop going to Target for exclusives. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse and worse, but it's obvious to anyone who's paying attention that they're making tons of money from Walmart, Target. I mean, those are the largest retailers out there.
They don't care that nobody gets them.
Yeah,
they don't care that
they don't
Target,
care, and Walmart and Target don't care because they're still selling the product.
Target doesn't do anything to fight bots.
No, they don't.
Right?
No.
I think Walmart at least kind of tries.
Yeah, I agree.
But kind of but I mean, like the bots are always going to be much more outclassed of the e-commerce systems.
Yeah,
but Target doesn't even bother.
No,
and like
doesn't matter to them.
Things sell out in seconds.
Oh, I've had that happen where something would go on sale, say at 12 noon, and I was 11:59. I'm there and I refresh. I get it all the way in, and again, I'm logged in. I have all my information in there. I get through to complete order within 30 seconds, and then it's like it's not in your cart anymore because it's sold out.
I mean, the only reason to have Hasbro Pulse Premium is the times where the premium members get to order a day early.
Yes.
And even then, the last 2 years, it's been a disaster.
But you still have a better shot.
You have a better shot, but it's still
you've got like a 40% shot instead of an 8% shot.
I wouldn't even say 8%.
Yeah, if you,
I was, again, being hyperbolic. It's more like 3.
There are a lot of people right now because if you do have Pulse, you're getting that email saying it's time to renew.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought twice about renewing. Like, I am not renewing. There is not a chance that I'm going to renew. Because what's $50, right?
Yeah.
I did not get $50 worth out of the last 2 years.
Well, with the free shipping, I definitely got the $50 worth. But we didn't pay for it at all.
No.
Like both the first two we signed up. Like we all bought something the first day, so we got it for free for the year. And then with the pandemic, they re-upped it for the year. And then but
think about just the Hasbro Pulse site is still a disaster. I mean,
at Celebration, we were talking to the web guy.
Completely blew us off. He had no care in the world what we were saying.
So my friend in marketing there, she was on maternity leave because she was supposed to be there, and it was like I was so excited to see her. But like I told her about it, and she was like, "Oh, yeah." Like, I'm not surprised at all that you guys got that response.
That was completely after it was revamped, and it was much better than Hasbro Toy Shop, but there were some very easy solutions to fix.
Well, the fact that you can't like put multiple things in the cart at the same time, you have
to
back out, buy back, or go back.
That's one of the dumbest things.
So, I mean, typically what I'll do is I'll open it in multiple browsers, right, and then when it goes up, I'll buy the one thing that I want, and then go and buy the just bop 3 tabs.
Yeah. But you shouldn't have to play the game.
I
mean, you should.
It's
one click, you buy the whole lot, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, but I've started more with the Big Bad and Entertainment Earth, and especially I gotta post that. We have an affiliate link with Entertainment Earth now, and I only use that to buy stuff from them now. Yeah. So I have to send that to you too. I keep forgetting to do that, but and Dorkside. I love mine from Dorkside. They are the by far fastest.
I have met Eddie at Wizard World Chicago.
We met him at
Celebration, which I had seen him 2 years previously in Chicago at Wizard World, and just loved hanging out with him. It was great people.
I spent like $200 at their booth.
Yeah, they're fun to just chat with. They always want to know when you see them in person, like what's hot, what are you looking for, what are we doing that we need to do better. It's just, to me, like, I had to beg Hasbro to listen to me say, hey, there's a few quick things you could fix on this new site that you're working on, and they didn't care at all. And to get that, basically the opposite response from Eddie there at Dorkside. Like, I actually at this point only have pre-orders set up through them because I just want to give them the business.
I bought the shirt. I love wearing the shirt, and everyone's like, what's Dorkside? Like, it's the greatest toy website on the planet.
Good people.
So, yep.
I just don't get how, if you have a product, whether it be a website, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is, and somebody is coming to you offering you advice on making it better, and they're very earnest about that, why you wouldn't just stop and say, hey, let me know what you think.
Right.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
Don't get it at all.
I don't know. It's weird, but let's talk about the state of Star Wars. Since we talked about the toys and kind of the missteps Hasbro is making. God, I kind of wish other brands would have a chance to make Star Wars toys. Not Mattel. Maybe Mattel a little bit, but not Mattel. You know what I'd like is the boss fight people to get to make Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
That would be great.
that's great quality stuff.
So I know that I've got like 6 of them out. Like,
Yeah.
I think I have like 30 of them at this point.
It's funny you mentioned that because it was a few weeks ago we were talking. I was telling you about how. So I'm pretty good in the games in the video games. PS4, don't have a PS5, whatever. Feel sorry for me, but one of the things.
Donate to Patreon so I can give Darryl the money to buy a PS5.
Yes. One of the things we've said about, and again, this is not just with toys. It's not just with video games. But competition breeds ingenuity, breeds creativity. One of the worst things to happen, or probably the worst thing that happened to professional wrestling, was when WWE bought WCW.
Exactly.
And the product of WWE immediately went downhill from there. And when I was telling Brian, I think it was last month, I was telling you, I watched this like 45-minute, maybe an hour video. It was like in 2 parts on the down state of Madden, the game. And, I used to be a Madden fan. The last Madden I bought was like in 2004 or 2005.
2005 was the greatest year of
Yeah.
Madden. I don't know. Do you play video games?
Yeah, not Madden.
But
So
like that was, but then Madden, then you had NFL 2K back then. You had Madden. So again,
you had the college.
yeah,
EA
and
college,
Yeah.
and
which is
2K
coming back,
college.
by the way.
Right. But like the college game was always superior to Madden
and
because you could run the option.
Yes. And what happened was EA got the exclusive NFL deal, and so no other company could. So 2K couldn't make it. And what happened over the years? Like there's like objective proof that Madden now is worse than Madden was 15 years ago. Like objectively, like
Yeah.
like they don't have the same options. The character animations were better in 2004 than it is on PS4 or computer systems. Now, how does that happen? It happens because there's no need for them to innovate. They know they have the license. So although I think 2K is going to be able to make an NFL game, is it next year or this year or something like that? But
Yeah, but 2K is messed up with wrestling.
yeah, you told me about that. Like
With the WWE. The
Yeah.
2K21. 2K20 was so bad
didn't they
that
like
2K21 never even came out.
Okay, yeah. So
And then they fired half the people, and they're like, we're going to make 2K22 better. But how?
So, like to you all's point, I would be interested to see how that would change things, like from a creativity standpoint, if you didn't have Hasbro having the ultimate,
Well,
license of Star Wars.
I mean, when Kenner had it, when it was just Kenner, but it was a different time, right? There weren't like 40. There was no Chinese supply chain to make this injection molded plastic figures at like mass rates. So like Kenner did a great job like pushing that envelope. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course.
And I'm biased because we grew up here and Kenner was here.
Oh, I used to love Kenner stuff.
If you're ever in Cincinnati, the mural right by the Kroger building where Kenner used to be, with all of the Kenner toys is amazing. And somebody actually defaced it a couple years ago.
No.
Bastard.
They got it fixed. But
Yeah.
still, like it's like who like there are 50 other murals in this town. Go deface one of those. Leave the Kenner one alone.
Right.
But no, I don't know. I think it's just indicative of Star Wars right now because Disney is so greedy. They're so greedy, and you have these people who are working with and around and for Lucasfilm that do not put fans first, do not put story first, and really are just there to push their own agendas, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to put your politics into a book, great. Do not make that the focal point of the book. For an IP that you don't own. If you really, really want your politics to be the focal point of the book, I'm gonna make a shocking suggestion. Create your own stuff.
Right.
Exactly.
Like Ethan Van Sciver, is the Comics Gate, whatever. Like he got pushed out of DC because of his political beliefs. And so he said, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna write and draw my own comics. I'm gonna sell them directly to people. And the people who want to read his books buy them. And they buy a lot of them. And his books sell 1 to 2 million copies, where DC is lucky if they sell 25,000 copies.
I was about to say, yeah.
Wow.
25,000. Marvel is lucky if they sell 25,000 copies of a book.
Yeah. What do we say? It's like do you all just not like making money?
They don't like making money, no. But I mean, he's making money by going directly to the people, and whatever you want to think about him, I'm not judging him. I don't like his cyber frog thing is not the kind of book I want to read, so I don't buy it. But if he put something out that I wanted to read, I would definitely buy it.
But and again, that's the problem, and where you said, hey, if you want to inject your train of thought, your ideas, or whatever, create new characters, create original characters. Instead, what's been going on in the last several years is you're basically stepping on and pissing on like the legacy of all these characters that have touched people for decades upon decades.
Let's say inspired. Touched is a loaded word right now.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, inside joke. I'm sorry. But no, we were at Celebration and we were stoked when they announced The Mandalorian. And when Gina Carano was announced, we were all over the moon. Like, this was great. Now, I know you do not like her acting abilities. Or, in your case, lack thereof.
Yeah, she's not. She's kind of cringe sometimes.
I disagree, man.
I mean, action, yeah. I mean, have her beat people up all day long.
Did you ever watch Haywire?
I didn't see
Dude,
it.
Haywire. No. Steven Soderbergh got the greatest performance out of her.
Yeah.
Now, is she always great? No. She's in the Kickboxer remakes, and she's horrible.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everybody's horrible. Yeah.
I didn't know she was in those.
Yeah, even Batista is bad in those.
Well, Batista's bad in everything. She is. The
weird thing is
I have Batista.
You stop being able to see him at certain moments.
Although Batista being bad is not all his fault, especially what they did with the character Drax. I have a serious issue with how they handled him after the first Guardian.
Jimmy pro cancel culture gun. Yeah, I get it.
So
anyway, but no, but like we were very excited for that. They even said we had one person in mind for this role because when we drew the pictures, we drew pictures of her.
Yeah.
All of the concept art was pictures of her. So like when all these people were coming out and like, oh, they can just recast. They really can't because there's no one else that they wanted for that role.
They could put Ronda Rousey in there, just darken her hair.
Have her grow 6 inches.
Yeah.
So
she would be just as cringe, if not worse.
she'd be worse.
Yeah. You know the funny thing about Gina and Ronda is they in consecutive Fast movies got beat up by Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes,
okay.
Which
so
defies credulity.
Well, you know what happens is in those movies. I think after 5, the one in Mexico or the Colombia, they put into the contract that they don't lose fights. The main the crew, the familia.
Yeah,
wow.
Okay,
so.
And again,
like
both with The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Lose another fight after. It's actually the one in London. So.
Both The Rock and Vin Diesel have something similar to that in their contracts. And if you are so full of your ego that the character you play can't lose a fight, you're a fucking idiot. That's all.
Just say you're The Rock.
Yes.
There is no more inauthentic person in Hollywood than Dwayne Johnson.
And again, I won't lie, I still like his movies. But like watching him over the last probably year on Instagram and some of his Instagram posts, really, like the more I saw, it's like, this guy is fake.
Well, he doesn't understand what the term leadership means. Just putting that one out there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
It was curved. she didn't put it back right. It's been bothering me.
OCD over here.
Yeah. But yeah, to the whole Star Wars, aspect of, where they're going, because you were talking about the fans, and you have some of these people actively, attacking fans or making fun of fans for being emotional or having a positive reaction to what happens in some of these Mandalorian shows, or you have them just outright attacking fans or.
Well, yeah, and then you have those people say, "Well, you're not a true Star Wars fan. Like, if you don't like a certain character, it's like you're not a true Star Wars fan because you're not concerned about the story. You're concerned about whatever virtue signal you want to put out there, and like, let's be honest. Like, most of these guys are only trying to impress cosplay girls. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying they're trying to like slide into their DMs or anything, but they definitely want to impress these cosplay girls who will come by their booths as Slave Leia for an entry into the Rolodex.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe some of the things, and I haven't gone deep into it, but what the story group and some of the comments and some of the backlash, I mean, why is that even being allowed right now? Why are these people allowed a voice? Like, you work for the largest property out there that has so much more potential even down the road, and I don't understand.
Because the leadership at Lucasfilm
wants
to destroy the platform. They want. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, destroy the platform, because some of these things they're doing, to think that this is just happenstance or accidental, there is definitely a goal, an end goal in mind, because there's too many things going on over the last several years, too many decisions that, I could say it's ineptitude, and I think there is absolutely ineptitude at the leadership at Lucasfilm. There's no doubt, and higher up with Disney is Disney has its own issues, but like focusing on Lucasfilm, there is a absolute lack of leadership, of good leadership, of direction, and looking at it, you can't help but wonder, like this is not just incompetence. This is almost like a targeted approach to tearing something down and building it in your own image.
Well, and I think they're creating this narrative around who Kathleen Kennedy really is, right? They keep talking like Bob Chapek in the call was talking about her creative direction. She has been responsible for things like Signs, which was not not universally praised. She was a producer on Avatar. The Last Airbender, not Avatar. The BFG was not well received. Solo, obviously, lost money. She just does War of the Worlds. She was a producer on. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, that should have disqualified her for anything.
She was the executive producer, right? Like, The Sixth Sense, she was a producer on. Okay, great. Like, she's got some of this, like, stuff, but she rode coattails. She started her career as Steven Spielberg's assistant. So she got to live and breathe around Spielberg and Lucas at the height of their creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And she had nothing to do with that. She had nothing. Fievel Goes West, An American Tale, Arachnophobia, Gremlins 2. Like, these are all good movies. The Money Pit, The Color Purple, Young Sherlock Holmes, The Goonies. Like, she had nothing to do with the creative process of these movies.
Zero.
None. And here they are, like, giving her, like, saying she's like, well, with her creative vision. So if Star Wars is her creative vision, as Star Wars fans, we're screwed.
Oh,
we're
100%.
In trouble.
100%.
Now they had the stock call, the quarterly earnings call, and Bob Chapek said, "Oh, well, she's going to be there for years to come." Bob Chapek can't get up there and answer as a question especially when someone asks a negative question. Oh no, she's gone. Like, her contract is up. No, they
can't. He
has to bolster
Mm-hmm.
the idea that the stock is doing well and will continue to do well. And the one thing that hurts stocks is major change.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you look like we brought up WWE earlier. Last year, WWE had made record profits and they laid off even after laying off or even before they laid off 40% of their staff. But they also fired like 2 of the top like business people. And when they did that, their stock dropped like a solid like 15 points. Like I think at the end of the day, it was only like $5 or $6 a share. But you know, if you have 1 million shares, that's $5 million that you lost. So you know, it's like we have to take everything that came out of that call with 100% of a grain of salt.
Yeah, how many times have you seen it in sports where they say, "Oh, we're going to keep this guy. He's here for the foreseeable future." 2 months later, he's gone. Yeah. He's fired.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a coach or a player, coach being fired, player being cut.
Yep.
I wouldn't expect him to say anything less.
So there's nothing that came out of that. So
yeah.
But you know, I saw some videos making the rounds, and it was kind of just from the usual suspects about like, oh, the Mandalorian's canceled. No, it's not.
No way.
No.
They're not canceling it. It's not going to come back for at least 2 years. You know, they're gonna, especially now with
they're trying to
the way they did Gina dirty. I'm sorry, if you fire someone over social media, that's just a bitch move.
Yeah.
Or she finds out via social media.
Yeah.
And I've heard that other places, like not just with her, but I've heard that in the past where somebody in entertainment or sports or something found out about them losing their job from social media.
Well, I mean, I fired you on Twitter like a month ago.
What's Twitter? I just keep showing up.
Well, now you know why I call you Milton. So, and I gave you a red stapler for Christmas. So.
I didn't get my paycheck.
That's a really good impression.
All right, Casey's got to talk as Milton for the rest of the episode now.
Can't
go. If I have to move my desk one more time, I'm gonna burn the building down. I'll burn this place to the ground. Milton. Anyway, but no, it's just. I mean, we're all lifelong Star Wars fans in here, and you know, it's one of those things that it connected us,
right?
You know, it just deepens, you know, our friendship. And there's lots of people who like my relationship with some of them is predicated on. I'm going to call Brian so they can tell my kids the right thing about Star Wars because I don't know. And I normally just make shit up and like, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy had like, no, I'm kidding. I never do that. But no, I mean like we as fans have invested our time, our money, our interest, and our evangelism to this property and for it to just be so cavalierly thrown away. And especially to chase Twitter clout for a platform that none of us are on anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying like it's like. I mean, it is the least populous social network. Yet, for whatever, I know the reason, but for whatever reason, it is the most powerful when it comes to certain topics. Do you agree? Disagree? I'm trying to get you guys canceled.
Yeah. So I will say what I tell Brian all the time about Twitter. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
I never got on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Didn't even really know what it was for probably the first 5 years it even existed. So
I was like an early adopter where you had to like text through your phone for it to show up on the website. You couldn't even do it there. Twitter was amazing when it started. And to be honest, like when everything went down in Egypt in like 2008, 2009, and they were able to accurately show what was happening with a military coup, violence in the streets against the citizens, and the ouster of a sitting like president. I think they have a president. It was like, this is the future. This is what we've worked towards and what communication should look like. And then they decided, you know what, we're not even going to worry about making money because we set this platform up all wrong anyway. We are going to lean into the worst mental illness that people have, and it's FOMO, fear of missing out. And we're gonna play on that. We're gonna use our algorithm, and we're gonna trend things that make people think they're missing out on things, so we can further that anxiety that some people feel. And that is what Twitter has become. And it's really, really sad because it was a game-changing platform.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Welcome to Tech Talk with Brian, Casey, and Darryl.
I think it was like 2014 when I first opened. No. When did? It was about 2013 or 2014, but I hadn't used it for the last probably 2 years, and I ended up deleting my account.
Yeah, I mean, my original account was from 2007, and then my current account was from 2008. So, but yeah, but I mean, it's just all that way, and like I told you guys, like everything I only post stuff for the podcast for the most part, and it's all automated at this point. So if you guys ever like see something on Twitter and you like it, thank you, I appreciate it. If you really want to get in contact with us, email us. Go to the website. But yeah, it's just go to our YouTube channel and leave a comment. That's the only place I have comments really turned on anyway. But yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, I mean, we were so excited coming out of Celebration about what could the Rise of Skywalker be.
Yeah, for sure.
And like that trailer was amazing. The Ian McDormand coming out, do it. Play it again.
Yeah. Crazy.
We were all losing our collective SHIT ish, as the kids say. And you know, I just remember the joy we all felt. Like I don't even want to wear my Rise of Skywalker shirt ever again.
Yeah, I think mine's at the bottom of the bin somewhere.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the pile of the Star Wars shirts.
Under the painting shirts, like.
So it's under the Star Wars show shirt that I bought and cut the sleeves off of. So.
Oh man, what about Star Wars on YouTube right now?
Oh, they are getting.
It's
nuked.
not on YouTube. They haven't put anything new. They've just been posting things on Instagram now.
Yeah, it's been getting nuked.
The ratio is just insane.
I've never seen that ever, and it to be consistently every single video since this whole High Republic garbage has come
ignored.
Out. Yeah,
like again, the Fire Gina Carano thing. They sure paid attention to that.
Yeah,
but like you have tenfold the response to what was it she said? My whatever. Don't try to break me down by telling lies when all I have to do is say the truth to destroy you or whatever.
Yeah.
Strike me down now and I shall become more powerful than you can even imagine. They really don't pay any attention to their own.
Oh no, they don't.
Because that's I mean, they did. She is Obi-Wan Kenobi at this point. They struck her down, and she has risen much more powerful than she ever would have been.
And you know that they thought, oh, this will blow over in a week or so. That these arrogant pricks thought that.
So this is the first time, well, I'm going to use the Eric July phrase that I hate. Normies. that normie Star Wars casual, what I like to call casual Star Wars fans, have seen something, they don't understand what's happening, they go to look at it and they're like, wait a second. This is nah. Okay. To quote Blake from Workaholics in Parks and Rec, nah, bro. I don't like to say no, so we'll say nah, bro. Anyway, it's just Grizzle. It's the future. Do you watch Parks and Rec?
Yeah, I've seen.
Okay.
It. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, so I don't understand it. I don't get it, but I do have to say I do like the fact that like you go through and you look at this. These are not bots. These are real people's names, real accounts, and it's not just the same one or two accounts like mass retweeting or mass commenting. It is 500, 800, 1,000 different people.
Yeah, I was seeing the ratio and I was just going through the comments like, I don't care about your video. I'm literally muting. I'm just reading the
I turn it
comments.
on and pause it immediately so it doesn't count as a view.
Right.
And I downvote it and then I go through and I read the comments and I'll like, mark I stand with Gina.
Crazy, so. Yeah. Yeah, I threw some thumbs down in there. It felt good.
It really did, didn't
It
it?
felt like I was kicking Kathleen in the ovaries.
Oh.
That was the perfect timing right there.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Quoting Ricky Bobby now. Anyway, I mean, baby Jesus is the best version. That's my favorite part of that whole movie, by the way. But no, I mean, we were stoked. I mean, and even when like they were starting to do that forces female thing, they did not do that at Celebration.
No.
It was the most inclusive Star Wars has ever felt to me.
Mm-hmm.
And in the fact that we were there with, I don't know, what was it, like 20,000 people? More than that?
Yeah.
I think it was like 80,000 total over the 5 days, or maybe 100,000.
Yeah.
But like the fact that everyone was there to just love Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no, like, even though people were making fun of The Last Jedi, and like you talk to 80% of the people there and like, yeah, that movie's hot garbage. There was no hate. Like, if Ryan Johnson could have walked the floor and the only person he had to worry about was this guy right here.
And I took pictures with him like 4 times.
Yeah. My favorite thing was when we got the with the, oh, can I tell the story about when the tickets went on sale at the VIP?
Sure.
So when the VIP tickets go on sale, Casey's like, I'll spend $1,000 if I can take a swing at Ryan Johnson.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Well, we were reading all the VIP perks, and I'm like, it's missing the only reason I want this. I want one swing. One.
Dude, could you
I'm
imagine?
not a violent person.
800, there were only 800 VIP passes.
Yeah.
And if all 800 people wanted that. Now, I mean, some of these like Star Wars fans would definitely not do that. But like, in some of them, if they're going to hit them, it's going to be like,
Like that.
yeah.
It just upset me that I was at Celebration Orlando, and he was out there pressing the flesh at night, handing out pizza and donuts and things like that. And it was before the movie came out, so no one knew what to expect other than what Kathleen and everyone was telling us about how he was coming
Other
to,
than first draft.
save this, second movie that we just believed it. That, okay, you guys did really good with Force Awakens. JJ was, a great choice for that. And, I believe you. If you say this guy's going to be great, I
have no reason not to.
Yeah, what was the Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie he made? It was
Looper, which I really liked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
I really like Looper.
Looper was good, and
people like Knives Out.
Yeah, I like
but
Knives
I'm never
Out.
Yeah.
watching another one of his movies again. So
I mean, artistically, just visually, The Last Jedi was one of the best looking Star Wars movies.
And it had
there's
one
no reason to disagree.
Yeah.
And it had one of, honestly, my favorite scenes in a Star Wars movie.
When Chewie was getting ready to eat the porg. And
One
they were looking at-
the holdo maneuver.
Yes.
Although the porg was pretty funny too. I wonder if it does taste like chicken.
Do they have chicken in a galaxy far, far away?
Chicken like? I don't know.
But that
Maybe
is
it all tastes like Wookiee.
that is completely all that I can say of that movie.
Yeah.
I remember just walking out thinking, what in the world just happened?
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, because we had these conversations at Celebration, and then we were all looking forward to Rise of Skywalker, and then we all walked out of that, and that text chain was brutal.
Yeah.
That was like, what the hell was that?
So for me, Last Jedi is kind of like how it was when I first saw Suicide Squad. I came out and I was like, oh, it's okay. And then I watched it again, like the same weekend. I went to the movies again to see it, and it wasn't really okay.
The Last Jedi is the Rocky movie that must not be named. Rocky.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we're talking about leadership. When you're making a trilogy, you're making a trilogy. How do you not get a writer or an overlord, whatever you want to call it, to bang out the main story points of all 3 movies so they
did, and the guy in the middle threw it away.
Yeah.
And said, I got this.
And see, that's the problem. That's not leadership.
And
it's
then
like,
he made a movie off of his first draft.
yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's not leadership. Kathleen Kennedy, whatever. You don't say, I don't care who it is, and let them say, I got this. Especially if you're supposedly have a story for a trilogy, and you just bring this person in look, you're in to do a job, direct the movie, and we already have the plan, and we're going to follow that plan. So that's another example of like just an overwhelmingly frustrating lack of leadership and lack of basic intelligence on how to tell a story.
Serious question: should Kathleen Kennedy be fired?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Should she be fired before her contract is up? In the fall?
Absolutely.
Yes.
What happens if they decide that, like, yes, they are going to extend it, and she's going to be the steward of Star Trek for Star Wars for years and years to come?
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth right there.
Just keep leaning on John and Dave to keep putting out whatever they can.
I think,
to have the
to
reins,
be honest,
there will be no John and Dave.
I was going to say, to be honest, I was just going to say that if she continues where she's going and she gets that extension, they're gonna be like either she's gonna, because again, those guys know what they're doing from a Star Wars standpoint.
Do you believe the rumors that she didn't know about Luke Skywalker? That they threw that in, kind of, they filmed it and threw it in at the last minute.
I don't know if I saw that rumor.
So so that's one of the rumors, right? That she was mad because she didn't know Luke was going to be in there, and she felt like that took away from.
Again, you're the leader. How do you not have control over?
See,
all
I don't
of that?
believe it. That's the thing. I think she knew about it. Like, she knew about it, but like, I also think that, like, the High Republic, which is her baby.
Oh my God!
Or
they have a
what is it? The High Republic.
There's a character that's a rock called Geode.
Yeah, Geode. I saw that.
I've got like 4 Geodes out in the garden. So,
collector's edition.
New
one is a collector's edition. One is a vintage. Like, one is a prehistoric. So anyway, but no, like we talked about High Republic when they first announced it, and we were kind of, you and I are both book readers.
I've met Charles Soule.
Yeah.
I have comics that he has signed from the Darth Vader series. Great guy. I mean, it was cool to meet him, and I don't normally do that, but I just so happened to be in the city he was in at that time, and definitely took advantage of that meetup. And
Casey went to his hotel room. Right. And was like,
"You're gonna need to sign this.
If you want me to leave, you have to sign these."
Yeah. So I mean, to have like that connection, to be like, "Wow, I loved the comics that he wrote, so I'll go ahead and I'll give this book a shot." And then the marketing campaign started, and
Tire Fire.
Oh my!
Tire Fire is a great way to. That's a good band name too, by the way.
Yeah.
I wonder if
T-Y-R-E?
Andy Dwyer.
Yeah. Dude, I can come up with names for everything. So, but Half Empty Glass.
Is that the Darth Vader comic you always tell me about that you like?
Yes.
The second series.
Kieran Gillen's first series is really good too. Yeah. But Charles Soule wrote Vader Down.
Vader Down. Okay.
So, which is just, I mean, it's 4 issues just by the trade.
Yeah.
Just go to Comics to Games. I think Mike has it. But anyway, no, like I was super stoked for it because I'm like, sweet, more material. Because I'm reading the Last Alphabet Squadron right now, which is really good. Too much Hera, not enough Alphabet Squadron, but but you're right, the marketing just killed it for me. I was like, are you kidding? Yeah. Like you hired and then what really was the nail in the coffin was at the end of the author's Zoom call with Claudia Gray, giving the Vulcan live long and prosper. It's like, stop, just go away. You wrote one of the best new canon books in Lost Stars.
Yeah,
and you're gonna pull this shit. Like, I'm sorry, but no, I'm not buying that book.
Yeah, and that's where, when we're going back to when we were talking about Jac Schaeffer, how it's that slippery slope in the sense of, I'm fine with, I want talent, but I also want people to care.
What's the difference? What's the difference between the two?
Oh, absolutely.
It's two people that are the difference.
Leadership. Mm-hmm. Going back to that leadership.
And Kevin Feige's starting to slip a little bit.
I will say, and again, we've talked about this before, I love what they did for the most part of the MCU. I mean, there's a couple movies, obviously, that didn't hit land for me. But overall, I love the MCU. The future coming up movies, I am not really excited for any one of them. Again, I really was excited for Black Widow. And again, I know part of that is hit on him for not releasing. I think he wants a theatrical release, which I understand wanting that. But when your movie has been pushed back to a year,
Then
a movie like this.
Use your company that is part of the global cabal of what is happening in the world to open things back up. Because all it takes is for Disney to say, you know what? All of these movies are coming out in the theater, and you have to have this many theaters open, this many seats available, and this many showings.
Oh, it would happen.
Because guess what? George Lucas did that with Star Wars, and Star Wars became the biggest franchise in the history of the world.
They have the power to do that.
Oh, absolutely. They absolutely do.
Hell, they could take and they could set up, you know how we were talking about ghost kitchens earlier? They could set up ghost theaters and say, we are renting out these little theaters that are closed down, and we're only showing Black Widow. Go see it. These are the cleaning precautions. You have to wear a mask. There's no food, nothing, but a ticket is going to cost $15. Who wouldn't do that? No matter how scared you are of the cornholio sickness.
Cornholio.
People are definitely. I need TV on my button.
I have that. That's like just reflex.
Are you threatening me?
Yeah, just reflex when I hear cornholio.
Casey, take your shirt down over your head. Put your arms down.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So I mean, we're at like an hour and a half. So, what do you want to see, Casey, from Star Wars in the next 5 to 8 years?
I mean, I certainly have enjoyed the Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Would really like to see the Obi-Wan series be amazing. I'm not as excited for Cassian, but I really loved Rogue One, so I want to see some more of that. And I don't foresee really anything coming out, majorly in the theater that's going to be, even desirable at this point. It's kind of one of those, fool me once, and and I pretty much learned my lesson from there. So I really like though what Plus is doing, and I certainly will continue to look forward to those things as they come out. They seem to have, laid the groundwork from the major investor call from 3 or 4 months ago.
We covered. Did you watch the whole thing too?
Yeah.
I watched the entire thing.
Yeah, all those shows coming out over the period of time. I mean, if half of those are okay, then
and just okay. That's the sad thing. We're okay if they're just okay.
At this point now.
Andor is the biggest bait and switch that they've done, because at Celebration they announced that they were doing that.
Yes.
And Alan Tudyk came out and was like, "I'm in. K2's gonna be there. You love him. He's snarky. He's got a fresh one for you." And then K2's not gonna be in the first season. But I am excited because I do like Diego Luna.
Yeah.
Cassian was actually one of the characters I really liked, especially after reading the idea that he was supposed to be a double agent for the Empire. And hopefully that they can bring that into canon, and that's what the show is about, would be great.
I would love that twist,
But no, I agree, 100%. So what are you looking for, Darryl, out of Star Wars in the next 5 to 8 years?
People are going to hate this, but to coin a phrase, just make Star Wars great again. And it's easy. It's
make Star Wars fiction again.
Yeah. and the reason I say that is because Star Wars has always been about characters and story, and not agenda. And sadly, and again, we just mentioned Marvel, and that's what I'm afraid is happening to Marvel right now, or the MCU, I should say. We know it's happened. It's happened to the comics a long time ago, but tell stories about this galaxy far, far away. There are so many, and again, one of the things I think, when they cut off the EU, again, I know there was a lot of great stuff there. There was a lot of not so great stuff there as well, but there is so much history with Star Wars. Embrace it. And again, to the point when we were talking about Jac Schaeffer, and Shackman, what they did, even though they didn't necessarily have all the knowledge, it felt like what they gave us. It felt like they had true love for that character, for those characters.
I think they had true love for the story.
Yes,
I think you have to be agnostic of the characters. You just have to have love of story.
Yeah, and sometimes that's exactly right, because I sometimes use story and characters interchangeably. But to your point, it was the story, because we always talk about the story. Yeah. The story is important. And I think that is more accurate, because you might love a character, but the story leads that character
Heroes
a certain
is the
way.
Perfect example of that.
Yes.
The first 13 episodes of Heroes is one of the coolest superhero TV shows that ever happened. And Tim Kring fell in love
With the
Masaoka's character.
Yes.
And it trumped everything that they had planned for the
So
second half of the season.
to clean that up, yes, absolutely. People who love the story of Star Wars and where you can go with that, not checkboxes, not agenda, not wokeness. Star Wars itself. Star Wars should be for everyone. Star Wars shouldn't try to alienate people for their opinions or anything like that. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we've been seeing. That's why I say just make it great again. Look at what George Lucas did. And I would love to have him back in creative control of Star Wars. As I mentioned Overlord before, being the Star Wars czar or whatever.
Well, I've told you, I want him in charge of the story.
Yes, exactly. That's what I want. I don't want him writing. I don't want him directing. No.
But I want him in charge of the story.
Yes.
But I don't know. I really want to see the hero's journey come back to Star Wars because we've lost that. We don't have this is why I liked WandaVision, right? She was all powerful, no doubt, but she was super flawed. And we loved her in spite of those flaws. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think. Like, I liked Rey. I really liked the character.
I like Rey. Yeah.
But Rey had no flaws. Rey was unbeatable from the get-go. I think if Rey, and this is where JJ messed up, right? If Rey loses that first fight to Kylo Ren,
like Luke lost.
Well, I mean, Luke didn't really lose until Empire. But
I mean, he really didn't have a fight.
Right.
But yeah, but I'm talking about one-on-one.
If she loses that one-on-one fight to Kylo and then her grit and determination get her through, because she grew up on a scavenger planet as a little human by herself. She obviously is going to know how to fight, but even someone who is dying from no-selling a bowcaster blast to, as powerful in the Force as we were led to think that Ben Solo was, she should never have stood a chance against him.
I could forgive the physical aspect of her being able to, because
physically, yeah.
But when the whole Force thing, her taking the light, and I think we talked about that a few weeks ago. That was the part where I absolutely agree, where she should not have been able to do that.
It should have never been there for him to grab in the first place.
No.
Of course, they essentially neutered Finn in that same moment. So
from then on,
yeah. Oh no, I mean, they neutered him. I mean, that was it. That was done. That was the end of his character. Well, the end of his character is when they said, "Oh, I was a janitor." Because if you read the books leading up to it, he wasn't a janitor. He was a part of a badass stormtrooper team that just like everything's supposed to be canon. Yeah.
Finn is a perfect example of having a gold mine of material and just casting it off into the water.
Yeah. So everybody brings up Kelly Marie Tran. That's been making the rounds lately, about Rose Tico and everything. Kelly Marie Tran was not the problem.
No.
Ruin Johnson was the problem with a first draft of a character he did not fully bake out, that he did not fully want to understand, that he literally wrote so she could have one line about inequity. That was it. That was it. That was the whole purpose of Rose Tico. And it was a huge disservice to someone who is as an actress, and from what I can see as a person, is super likable and should have been highlighted. And instead, it's a shame what happened to that she felt like she had to leave social media, that they decided to reduce her role in the second film. But again, it was an instance where she was just a mechanic who all of a sudden knew how really complicated, hyperspace travel worked. Nothing in the sequel trilogy was earned at any point. And that's because they got away from the hero's journey.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. So are you done with Instagram? Are you still posting?
I am not on there. I basically have taken since the summer off. Yeah. The account's still there. I will check it every once in a while, really just to check up with friends and a few toy sellers in the Chicago area that I'm close to, who I usually text anyways, but I just like to see what they're posting, what they may have. Now that I don't live there,
You got to find new ones.
yeah, certainly not going to check those. And I have gone and checked here local in this area, toy sellers and stuff again, just to see what they have. But new focus in my life now with the child on the way, and so less to do there in terms of just collecting and posting. And my wife and I may start up an account so family can see the child and things like that, because we're not going to be.
So one bit of dad advice. I took a picture of her every day for the first 6 months of her life.
Yeah.
And then I made a slideshow.
Cool.
I wish I'd done it the full year.
The full year.
I stopped
That's
after
cool.
6 months. But
there's a lot
do
of
that. Do the
too.
full year. And the funny thing that you will see, because I even saw it at 6 months, is he will look exactly like you, and he will morph into your wife. Because genetically, human babies look like the dads when they're born. Because when we were cavemen, that's how the dad knew it was theirs, and the dad would stick around because it looked like himself.
Yeah.
And genetically, we've never abandoned that as a race. So newborn babies almost never look exactly like the mom. They always look closer to the dad, and it's a genetic survival mechanism that human beings have.
What's the name of this podcast?
Eugenics with Darryl and Casey and Brian.
But if you do want to send me a DM on Instagram, I'll certainly see it eventually.
Slide right in.
I had some people wish me some happy Thanksgiving, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and I apologized because I saw it sometime in mid-January, but good people, and I was glad they reached out to me. But I've had some really weird people too, just during the political climate that they know I'm a Christian, so they assumed they knew me.
Hold on, we don't talk. No, that's completely off limits for that show, sir.
But exactly,
I'm kidding.
was just way out of the blue. A few people that I know that I thought I was fairly close with on Instagram that just went in a very weird, dark place.
Social media is not real life.
To me,
so.
I was just like, wow, I'll take a huge break from this. And, a great focus this last year on, my upcoming family, my wife, my, financial situation. Everything is just
glorious mane
this,
you have
this
going
hair,
on.
I'm
The
only cutting
awesome beard.
hair a few times a year now. I did trim my beard recently. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He's going Viking.
It gets to a point where you feel like
Did you braid it?
No, I didn't get that far, but it just sometimes it
You got a
feels
little
like it's
braid going on,
choking
like hanging out the
you.
back.
I know this little thing right here. It's
Yeah.
a little.
So.
straight out. Yeah. It does feel like it gets a little too overwhelming.
So now you make the emojis in the iPhone.
Right.
His is perfect.
Nice.
Anyway. Well, thank you for
thanks
coming
for having me.
on.
Nice to meet Darryl for the first
meet you,
time.
man. Yeah.
Been listening for so long and over the last year especially, and nice to meet him in person finally.
Yep. Darryl. Old Darryl. Isn't it? It's
Dead
perfect. It is dead on perfect.
Dead
like
on.
I've got your goatee and everything. So, but yeah, no, thank you. It's always a blast. And anytime you're in town, you have an open invite to come in and be the third mic or second mic or first mic, whatever. It's really your show.
It's rotating. Yeah.
So no, Casey, like when he had to commute into work was always great because like if there was ever a glitch, he'd be like, dude, the podcast isn't up yet.
And it was probably me. I don't know. I'm just not the most technical savvy
Well,
person.
a couple times it was
yeah.
issues and things like that. It was great, and
Yeah.
I was able to fix it. And like the one time I didn't even like schedule it. I just saved it. I didn't, but now I was like, oh, shit.
I probably did reach out to you too, like, hey, where's the cast? Like, what's going on? But it was my Monday morning commute.
Yeah.
It kept me awake for that hour in the car every day. So every Monday. So
every Monday. So, all right. Cool. Any last words?
Nope. Just looking forward to next week. Snyder Cut. Fingers crossed.
And
Fingers
4
crossed.
hours.
and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Yeah, already.
So
Yeah.
you see, this is the thing that Disney Plus needed to do, is to just a week off next, a week off next, a week off next, and they seem to have that. There is not nearly enough new content on there.
No.
Because I own all the Star Wars movies. I own most of the I own all the MCU movies I want to rewatch. I have the theatrical cuts of Star Wars, so I'm not gonna watch the bullshit like special editions. So,
Han Chopper.
did you see the meme about George Lucas saying an artist should never like go back and redo their art? If something in 1983 that he said is like,
Yeah.
that is the definition of irony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. On that note, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Casey, for coming in. Thank you for making the trek north of the wall, and we will see you guys next time. Later.
See ya.
The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. You can find new episodes every Sunday on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, our website, or anywhere podcasts are downloaded. This show is hosted by Darryl Jasper and me, Brian Tudor. To find more information about the show, visit us at infamouspodcast.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infamous Podcast to keep up with the show. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/infamouspodcast. We have some great rewards for our patrons and are looking for help to grow the show to bring you more of the content you want to hear. Music for this podcast is provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. So, whenever you're listening to us, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.